Hackney, London. Above a sweatshop on this road was the headquarters of my favourite label of all time, Creation Records, from the middle of 1989 to 1996, where they moved to Primrose Hill. Alan McGee, Dick Green and Joe Foster started this amazing label in 1983, where they were based on Clerkenwell Road in Moor, central London. I actually met Alan McGee in 2019 when he did a talk in Exeter in the southwest. I travelled up from Plymouth to watch his question and answer, and he was a brilliant guy to meet, an absolute hero. I then visited when I went to the Shoegaze All Dayer in 2023, and the place is, well, disappointingly not like it was in its heyday, and there's not even a plaque outside, which I was quite disappointed about. So here's a then and now picture, and you can see me stood outside, albeit that's the wrong door. It's actually number 8. I should be outside, but hey ho. Welcome to the Shoegaze at 93 channel. I'm at 8 Westgate Street. This was the second headquarters of Creation Records from the late 80s to early 90s, before they moved to Primrose Hill, before the Oasis days. This is where they would have been here. Alan McGee, Dick Green and Joe Foster would have been here in the midst of the shoegaze and acid house scene. So this was like 1991, Teenage Fan Club, Primal Scream, MBV with Loveless, Ride. All of these guys would be walking in here. Lots of substances being taken, no doubt, behind the scenes. And Boo Radley's, the Telescopes, Medicine, the first American band to be signed by the label. Nowhere, Everything's Alright Forever. All of those records would have been dressed up in the roof above. So I think it's like a knitting factory below. So everything happened in the rooms above. So yeah, that's a bit of history for today. There's the iconic train bridge that you see in documentaries like Upside Down, and most recently in the Creation Stories film from 2021. So yeah, there we go. There's the Creation Records headquarters. In Alan McGee, Creation Stories, Riots, Raves and Running a Label, Alan McGee states that Creation was expanding, House of Love was still selling, Isn't Anything by My Bloody Valentine was selling. Dick Green and I hired James Kylo as business manager at the start of 1989. He just quit Cherry Red Records. We needed someone who had experience. The shoebox in Clerkenwell was far too small. I asked James Kylo to find us new premises. He found us a place in Westgate Street, Hackney. We were moving out from central London to a place where, at the time, no one in the music industry went anywhere near. It was rough. It had no tube. Anyway, we moved to this big office in Hackney with tons of space under the railway arches next to London Fields. Hackney's trendy nowadays, but it wasn't then. No fucker would go there. You'd get mugged. It was perfect for us. In David Cavanagh's book, The Creation Record Story, my magpie eyes are hungry for the prize. Dick Green states, there was a different perspective on things at Hackney, says Dick Green. It was starting to become a company. There was staff being paid wages, and we started to pay advances to bands. Kylo and Ed Ball became the first paid Creation employees. James Kylo said, the real thing that I was brought in to do was to take it from being essentially a hobby, where a rough trade did all the work and all the business, and take it in-house. So we took over our own manufacturing and international. Creation came off its P&D deal and moved on to a much less prohibitive rough trade distribution deal, Alan McGee stated. You can't believe how much more money you can make by doing your own production. In Paolo Hewitt's Alan McGee and the Story of Creation Records, this ecstasy romance cannot last. Alan McGee states, we moved out of Hatton Gate, Clerkenwell Road, right about
April 1989 and moved into Hackney in the same summer. We had a sort of opening launch party that turned NME into fucking drugs, really, to E, really. And basically, we had this amazing room at the top of Hackney, right? It was full of mirrors and it had a fucking glass roof. And all of the debauchery that ever happened in that building happened in that little place. We had one house tape that we just put on and on and on again. The entire label was laying about. Shields, Gillespie, Mark Gardner. It was a fucking mad one.
The second headquarters. Yeah, mad stuff were happening in there. Ride went through those doors. Slow Dive, My Bloody Valentine, the Telescopes. You name it. The Boo Radleys after they left Rough Trade. You had St. Etienne. You had Jesus and Mary Chain, Primal Scream. Teenage Fan Club, all partying in those top rooms. The bottom floor was a knitting factory, and the rooms above was where the Creation Records offices were. That's where Alan McGee was, and Dick Green. Dick Green went on to form Wichita Records, signed Block Party, and recently they got the Ride Weather Diaries album on there. And Joe Foster went on to form Revola Records. So yeah, absolutely amazing. 8 Westgate Street, that's where the magic happened. How just that little building there changed the music landscape. Absolutely remarkable.
So, some notable releases whilst Creation were at this building in Hackney was Ride, Leave Them All Behind single, their first top 10 single. That's the Ride EPs, Ride, Play, and Fall. This is Nowhere, Ride's debut album. Ride, Today Forever, Ride, Going Blank Again from 1992. The Boo Radleys, Boo Forever EP. The Boo Radleys, Everything's Alright Forever. The Glider EP from 1990. Alan Moulder was the in-house engineer, mixer for a lot of these records, especially the noisy, shoegazy ones. And it's definitely one of the best mixers of all time. Born in Lincolnshire, Alan Moulder is famous throughout the world for his work on alternative rock and shoegaze music. Giant Steps from 1993. This was NME's Album of the Year for 1993. My Bloody Valentine Tremolo EP, this definitely was Hackney Westgate. My Bloody Valentine Loveless from 1991, a key release. Medicine, Shot Forth Self-Living, Medicine, the first American band on the label. Slowdive, self-titled EP, debut EP. Slowdive, Just for a Day, their debut album from 1991. Slowdive, Souvlaki from 1993. Swerve Driver, Grunge Gazers, Rays with their debut album from 91. Swerve Driver, Mezcal Head from 1993. Teenage Fan Club, Bandwagon-esque from 1991, another huge record. The Jesus and Mary Chain, Honey's Dead from 1992. Of course, Primal Scream, Screamadelica. Sugar, Bob Mould, Copper Blue. The Telescopes, Flying. Of course, probably the label's most famous artist on the roster, Oasis, with Definitely Maybe from 1994, and What's the Story, Morning Glory from 1995, especially What's the Story, Morning Glory. That's internationally renowned. But what a lot of people don't know is that in 1992, Alan McGee and Sony, Creation Records and Sony, struck a deal. The label was 51% independent, 51% creation, and 49% major label with Sony. So Oasis were running on, they had the financial backing of a major label, but the credibility of an independent. So yes, that's a bit of a hidden fact that people don't realise, and was really a big factor in the success of Oasis. And that is some incredible discography right there. And that's why they are my favourite label, alongside the mighty 4AD. And hopefully one day I will visit Alma Road in London. That's the southern side of the Thames. So let's see if I can get there in the future. Thanks.